Hey everyone, my name is Zach Spitzer, aka Spitz VGC, and in this video I will be breaking down my Week 1 matchup in Season 2 of the Hoothoot Draft Association. This is part of a series of videos covering my second season in the HDA and my first of 8 matchups in the regular season. And we are kicking off the regular season with a bang. My first opponent is the Eepy Dreepys, managed by Craig Campbell. Craig is a longtime VGC player with several day 2s under his belt, so I've got my work cut out for me. For this week, I'll do a quick draft recap to highlight the Pokemon I'll be using this season, and as part of each match this season, I'll be giving a breakdown of both players' teams, showcasing the battle, and giving my takeaways from each set. With that, let's get started. To start, let's take a look at the team that I will be using this season with a quick draft recap. As a reminder, this is a 36-person draft league, meaning that Pokemon options across the board were severely limited. This meant that we had 8 different tiers of Pokemon that we could choose from. We can only choose 1 Pokemon from each of those tiers, and 8 total Pokemon made up our teams. There is no free agency, there are no trades, meaning that this is the team that I will be using throughout the entire season. And let's start with our highest tier pick, Mega Delphox. Mega Delphox is going to be my big damage dealer throughout the course of the season and the Pokemon that I wanted to build around. My A tier pick is going to be Mega Aggron, which gives me a different physical option on the slower side so that I'll be able to dish out some damage in Trick Room and give me an alternative to Mega Delphox. My B tier pick is Paldean Tauros Aqua. And Tauros Aqua is going to be a Pokemon that really helps support that Mega Delphox and some of my other pieces on this team. Intimidate is one of the best abilities in VGC and is going to be a really good supportive option for my team. Water and fighting coverage is also really nice to have. And Tauros overall is just a really good draft Pokemon for its ability to use several different sets and capitalize on them in different ways. My C tier pick is going to be Mega Clefable. This is actually intended to be a budget pick for me. Clefable being in C tier and being one of only 3 Pokemon with Follow Me, I thought was a really good budget option for me. And this is the Pokemon I decided to make that work with. This also means that I can try and do some stuff with Mega Clefable this season, although this means that I won't be able to use any other items for that Clefable slot. My D tier pick is going to be Rhyperior. Rhyperior gives me another potential damage option and really good ground stab if Aggron or Mega Delphox can't get the job done. My E tier pick is going to be Absol, the base form. Absol has got a really high attack stat and a really cool supporting moveset, so there's a lot of ways that I could use Absol this season. My F tier pick is going to be Gourgeist. Fun fact, this gives me all 4 forms of Gourgeist, meaning that I will be able to play around with different sets on this Pokemon. It helps complement my Fire, Water, Grass core, and also gives me a Trick Room setter to help enable my Mega Aggron and my Rhyperior. And my G tier pick is going to be Rotom Fan, who will be able to give me extra coverage on this team, as well as another speed control option. This is going to be the team that I believe will be able to take me to the HDA Season 2 title. Taking a quick look at Craig's team, this is a team that, even though Craig himself is a very good player, I think that the Mega matchup between us works heavily in my favor. Mega Mawile and Mega Abomasnow are, of course, both weak to that heat wave that my Delphox could bring, and there's not a clear way for Craig to stop it, outside of maybe if he wanted to do Rain Dance Espathra or something else along those lines. So the Mega matchup does favor me. That said, there are still things that I really want to respect in this matchup. Mega Mawile's Sucker Punch could ruin my Delphox's day, so I want to make sure that I am respecting that with both my Bulk Calcs and with my Clefable for this week. And the major Pokemon I am looking at for this week is that Clawitzer. In practice, Clawitzer was a Pokemon that actually gave me a lot of trouble, and I theorized that it could be a Pokemon that could give me a lot of trouble if given the right speed control. So that could be either Iron Ball, it could be Trick Room, or it could be Espathra setting up a couple of speed boosts and then baton passing them over to Clawitzer. So that's the main Pokemon that I am looking to counter this week, and it's one that I am absolutely certain that Craig is going to bring. I think Mawile is a very solid bring as well as Espathra. Farigiraf is another Pokemon I think that is very, very likely Craig is going to want to set up his Trick Room. A Trick Room favors his team really well, and Farigiraf helps support that strategy. Zoroark is another Pokemon that I am looking at. This one did not come up in practice when I was practicing for this matchup, but I think its dark typing, its really good synergy with Farigiraf, and its ability to make my Delphox miserable makes it a really good option for Craig to bring this week. So that's another Pokemon I'm looking at. Of the ones that I think Craig could bench, the first Pokemon I think he's going to bench is that Mega Abomasnow. Now, it can do a lot of damage, but Abomasnow's matchup into Aggron and Delphox is really, really poor. And so I think it's going to be difficult for Craig to find a way to bring it out consistently and do a lot of damage. The other two Pokemon I am looking at are either that Pikachu or the Colossian Gudra. There's the Hisuian one here, but the Kalos Gudra is the one that we're looking at for this week. I think one of those two is the other Pokemon that gets benched. Pikachu can offer some good benefits with Lightning Rod if I wanted to take an electric type angle to try and take down the Clawitzer, Fake Out, and then also being able to use that Light Ball to dish out a ton of damage is something that the Pikachu could do. That said, Pikachu is very, very frail, and I also have a Rhyperior with a potential Lightning Rod ability if I choose to bring it, so it potentially puts Pikachu in a bad spot. Gudra as well offers a surprisingly deep support kit. It can do things like Faint, Rain Dance, a couple of other items as well, but it's a Pokemon that I ultimately don't think Craig is going to bring this week. I think it's a little bit slow-paced for the Pokemon that I am bringing this week. There's not really any clear Dragon-type opportunities as well either, so if there were a Pokemon that Craig is going to drop this week, that's the one that I would personally pick. And here's the team that I decided to end up bringing to HDA in week 1. Now, a quick note here is that I'm recording this after the matches have taken place. Normally, you will see me record this about a little bit before the actual matches take place. So the teams that you'll see here will be the teams that I actually ended up using, rather than the ones that I intended on using. There's a couple of small discrepancies, and I'll kind of explain them as I go. To start, our first member of the team that we're using here is Paldean Tauros. It's really, really good into a lot of the stuff that Craig wants to bring, more specifically into the Mawile. And the Intimidate that it offers is really important for making sure that we can survive that Sucker Punch. We went super straightforward with our stat spread here, max speed, max attack, and we decided to go with a white herb for our item for Tauros this week. This allows us to get around the Mawile Intimidate, and puts us in a better position to be able to get some damage down on the board later on. Our second bring for this week is going to be Clefable. Of course, I have to carry the Mega Clefable Stone. I don't think we'll really have any intention of using the Mega on Clefable this week, but we do have a few different supporting options that we can offer instead. So we've got Helping Hand to boost some of the damage for Delphox if we can get a Nasty Plot off. And for Tauros, if we're able to get some big damage down with Wave Crash. And then Moonblast just gives us a good damage opportunity to hit some of his other targets like Zoroark, if it happens to come around. The spread here doesn't calc for anything super specific. Wanted to get a good balance of the defense and special defense, ensure that we would be able to knock out a bulky Zoroark with the Moonblast, and then the HP is just maxed out. This is our Rhyperior for this week. Shout out to one of my team partners for helping me come up with the nickname for him. But this Rhyperior I decided to bring over Mega Aggron this week. The reason why is that I think Rhyperior's stab ground moves are really, really good into what Craig is going to bring this week. More specifically, that Mawile I think is going to be a huge point of concern. A couple of things that I want to point out here. The ability, rather than being Lightning Rod, is actually Solid Rock. Craig does have Pikachu this week, so if he decides to bring it, then that could end up potentially biting me, but I want him to be scared to bring Pikachu and use that as an opportunity to be able to help with Rhyperior's more lackluster defenses. The max special defense is supposed to help out with some moves from Clawitzer or any random coverage moves that might hit Rhyperior for super effective damage. We're using a Swords Dance set this week, so that way Earthquake will be able to do a ton of damage inside of Trick Room. Rock Wrecker is just a really good delete button for most of the stuff that Craig is going to bring, so I want to be able to provide that as an option as well. Now we have Absol. Absol I decided to bring over Rotom Fan. I kind of figured that either one of them could have come this week, but I liked Absol's matchup into the Farigiraf, which was one of my big problem Pokemon this week, and I liked that I could still offer a little bit of support while still being able to deal damage, which I think that Rotom Electric, it could have helped out a little bit with the electric type damage into the Clawitzer, but I think that the Night Slash ended up favoring me a little bit more. This is Focus Sash Absol. So we just decided to max out our attack and speed here, go for as much damage as we can. Our ability makes it so that Night Slash has a really high chance of getting a critical hit, which will be super helpful for getting around Mawile Intimidate. Taunt allows me to stop a potential Trick Room from Craig, as his team is very Trick Room oriented. So Taunt will allow me to taunt the Farigiraf while not having to worry about that Trick Room. And then Will-O-Wisp, of course, will help me to reduce some of that Mawile's damage output. And one more thing I did want to include as well with this Rhyperior, the item that we chose for Rhyperior this week is Iron Ball, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. When you take a look at our two teams, Rhyperior is the slowest thing on the field, so why would I bring Iron Ball? Well, in practice, I actually went up against Iron Ball Clawitzer, and I found that it was actually a lot of trouble for my team. And I didn't really have something else that I preferred to use that item slot for Rhyperior. In theory, I could have used one of like a Rindo Berry or a Pasho Berry, but I found in practice it just wasn't reducing the damage as much as I would have liked. So Iron Ball is kind of a little bit of an insurance policy. Clawitzer is very, very slow. So if he does in fact decide to bring something like an Iron Ball Clawitzer, that will allow me to basically win the min speed war and put my Rhyperior in a position to potentially knock it out, especially if it's able to set up a Swords Dance. So that's why we decided to go with Iron Ball this week there. This is Ilvis, my Delphox. You'll notice a couple of things that stand out here. First off, there's the stat spread. So this Delphox is trained to get that bump on the special attack stat, whereas the speed stat is trained to outspeed max speed Zoroark when Delphox decides to Mega. So that's why I decided to go with that speed stat. The bulk is a bit more general, but really helps into the Mawile matchup. I pretty comfortably survive a Sucker Punch at -1. So that's why Tauros is really, really important for the matchup this week. Of course, we do have the Mega Stone. And then the big thing I want to point out here is that I am running Expanding Force on Delphox. This was unintentional. The original plan here was to run Psyshock in that Psychic type spot instead, but I forgot to make that change, as you'll see in the matchups. So that ended up being not as big of an issue as you might think. It's essentially a slightly weaker Psychic. So we were still able to use it for what it was worth. But that was one thing that did end up coming up in our match here. And then finally we have Gourgeist. So this is Jumbo Gourgeist specifically. The defense here allows it to survive some specific dark type attacks that I think might come up, whether that be from Zoroark or whether that be from Mawile. We went with the ability of Frisk this week. So Frisk allows me to see what my opponent is running item-wise, and I think that it's going to be really helpful for trying to potentially scout out a Zoroark if I think that Craig is going to bring it this week. So that's why we ultimately decided to go with Frisk. Moves-wise, I wanted to keep it pretty straightforward. The big tech here this week is going to be Imprison. So this allows me to potentially shut down a Trick Room, but more importantly, it also lets me shut down Protect. So this puts me in a position where if I can keep my big damage pieces safe, then they won't be able to protect their way out of potentially getting hit for huge damage. So that's why I wanted to include it here. And then item-wise, we ended up going with, I have to remember, it was the Colbur Berry. So this allows Gourgeist to be able to survive a little bit more of that dark type damage that we would potentially end up running into. So that's the team this week. Let's get right into the battles. All right. Oh, he actually did bring a Bomb of Snow this week. Okay. Interesting. So there's no Pikachu. So and what was the other Pokemon he benched? Goodra. Okay, so that makes sense. I kind of expected. Rigorath, so I mean everything here is pretty much what I expected. That's Pathra, Zoroark, and Mawile. Okay, did not think he was going to bring a Bomb Snow this week. A little surprised to see it. That's okay. I think we have some decently good counterplay for it. But I guess we'll see. I think we'll try this lead, at least get an idea of what he could be coming up with in the lead. I could try Trick Room right off the, or blocking Trick Room right off the bat. I think that's probably going to be my move. So we'll bring these two back. And we'll see if that works. Alright. Let's do a bonus slap again. Got the Clawitzer. Okay. Alright, so we're Scarf on the Clawitzer. That makes sense. And then Sash. Sash on these Pathra, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these was Zoroark. I would like to check switch to Fuego. None of these Pokemon really threaten Delphox all that much. Or not Delphox, Clefable all that much, so I think this is fine. Try to maybe hit a cut off on the Mega, but I don't know to not expect Delphox in the Mega. Try that. Yeah, I think with this setup, it's going to be a little difficult for me to get going. Scarf Rotom would be really good here. So that's okay. So, first one. Clawitzer. Ally switching Pathra. This is the one. So I want to try and clear the Clawitzer here. Wouldn't be surprised to see Switch. It's kind of under the direction. The Clawitzer is really slow, so your base speed has to be. You have to have some speed investment. Coming at you. We'll follow me. Keep it safe from this Pathra. Fine. Probably lose the Clefable here. That's okay. He'll outspeed. Okay, that's good to know. Landing a knockout with Lumina Crash and Tauros. I don't really have a great way around that. I didn't switch my move. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, shoot. Well. Here's to hoping that he gets confused like this. This was not what I prepped for to do. Oh, that's my mistake. That's okay. That's okay. I'll switch and crash. And despite the choice scarf, I still inspire. Yeah. Now I gotta figure out the rest for sure. Last turn rain. Doesn't really matter because you can just set it back up. Okay. That's okay. This isn't anything new. So I can switch in Tauros here to get the Intimidate drop down. If I think he's going to Sucker, or I could just go for Nasty Block. Not that that really gets me anywhere. We'll go for Intimidate here. I should survive after an Intimidate drop. Okay, so he doesn't go for it. He goes for the crash. Okay. huge I need to see Wave to connect. Yes, come on, knockout. Yes, all right, perfect. So the good news is we managed to wipe Mawile and call the not sucker. Bad news is that now he's got the photograph. I would have to guess that thing's probably a Shadow Ball. That's why you set up a lean crash for it. So he's super fast. So if I can piece this, I might lose Gourgeist here. I'm guessing he's probably got Shadow Ball in the photograph or some type of Dark type. Ideally, we want to see Dark technique here. Okay, it's Colbert. On the photograph. Okay. Yeah. Twin Beam. We could have just read it, which if that's the case, then I should survive. I should survive a -2 Twin Beam. So, what I can do, I think I just go for Wave Crash. Yeah. Protect doesn't really do anything. So we'll do close combats. I mean, if he has Shadow Ball, he has it. It's not really anything I can do about it. I mean, I could try to piece it out. No, I'm gonna go for this. Just hope that he doesn't have Shadow Ball. Okay, he whipped the mouse. Alright. Combat, does that pick up? Does not. But I think unless he's got some type of spread move. Okay, just Twin Beam. That tells me he probably doesn't have Shadow Ball. If he's going for that. He could also be hiding it too. Okay. Let's go for combat again. And expect first. That should be it. Alright, sweet. So we win. We win the first game. Not really how I thought I was going to win that first game, but we did win, so we totally took that. Question becomes now, how do we adjust? That Clawitzer is an issue. And I need to figure out... I mean, I'm not surprised that that was kind of the case in testing. So I'm not really surprised that it's an issue. Muddy Water is interesting, though. Okay. So... I had a second mode here where I brought Rhyperior. I don't know that he's gonna let me do that. Here's the thing. If I can get it set up, I'm in unbelievable shape. But the problem is I have to get it set up. So, yeah, not really sure how that's working. Yeah, man, I knew I should have brought Rotom this week. Rotom would have been so good into this. That's okay. So, no Zoroark, no Abomasnow, no the Mawile Soccer Punch, but I don't really know anything else otherwise. Crazy that I kind of want to go right. Okay, so this is what I was doing before with you and with you, and then kind of go for a triple. I don't know what's going on. I gotta pick something. Okay. We'll do you two. You. I don't love this. This feels bad. Kind of ran out of time there. I'm not really sure what the adjustment is. Trying to figure out Clawitzer, but. Okay, so let's Red Clawitzer lead. Alrighty, this is a horrible move. Okay. Actually, using world. No, it's tough. Okay. Swap you in. I'll just go from the rest. Probably just. Okay. Yep. Well, we know who that is. Good call. Listen, we take those. We take those. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. This trick room. All right. Sweet. Cool. So now what? Because my board state is still horrible. Okay, so I could Trick Room here, or try to reverse the Trick Room. I reverse the Trick Room. We're gonna sacks. Swap the right barrier. It might just end up having to be a sack here. I don't really see a good way around this. On Trick Room. Yeah, I didn't have a good switch here. I could have swapped in Delphox. I feel like I'm taking way too much damage if I do that. Okay. Well, at least get that. Probably gonna take a ton of damage from Twin Beam. Okay, that's not very. There's not a lot of investment on that. It's probably entirely defensive. Now you threaten Iron Head. I'm also threatening him. I don't know that he necessarily takes that. Part of me wants to protect and scout. I think I'm gonna go. Let's Seed Bomb the Mawile just in case he swaps. And what? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a really defensively invested move we're having. But not doing my board guys any favors here. I'm just hoping that it. Oh, that actually might be sucker range. That would be really annoying actually. Let's see, 2 turns tripping left. Should play around. Sucker punch. And protect. So I'm guessing. Guessing the last move is Iron Head. Torgeist is slower. Probably min speed more often. Double Protect is obvious, but then he puts him in state. If he has knockoff, so be it. I kind of feel like he's got Iron Head instead. Yeah, okay. So this is what I expected. He wanted to cover for the Clefable switch. Perfect. Yeah, okay, no advance. That makes sense. Now we play a lot of mind games here. I think I should still pick up a Heat Wave because of that nasty plot. But if that Clawitzer comes in, it starts getting really, really tricky. Which I can call the switch if I want to. Follow me. And click Heat Wave. It feels like it's just going to be swap the Clawitzer and Protect. I don't know that I have a better move here. Okay, doesn't swap. Okay, that's good. That's huge. Oh, don't miss. Oh, that's so bad. Okay. I mean, I get the Mawile, which is good. Oh, man, you're missing that photograph. It's not good. Okay. Does Moonblast 2 shots? Oh, God, I did this so bad. That's okay, though. I think I need a Moonblast 2 shot, which is tough. I don't think I'm getting it. Oh, yep. I'm gonna need a crit. Or a Muddy Water Miss. I think that's my only way out. Oh, man. Okay, this one's tough. So either a Moonblast High Roll... Heat Wave. I think that's my only out. Oh man, that's so bad. I think we just have to hope that either Muddy Water hits or Moonblast crits, or I get like a high roll or something. I don't see another way out of this. Come on, Clefable, help me out. You got me, Clefable. You got me. Muddy Water Miss. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Game 3 we go, I guess. Shoot. Alright. No, forgot. Vorgeist didn't really do much of anything for me here, but I mean the Zoroark didn't do much for him either. Okay, we know the moves on Mawile. Oh man, that heat rate is so bad. Okay, that's okay. I was really hoping to get more use out of that Rhyperior here. I mean, he's like Clawitzer both games. I feel like he still can't bring a Bombasnow. I mean, he might. I guess he could conceivably bring it. He's called around the Ferrig, so I could always go for Taunt. Let's see. I mean, let's see. Didn't bring the Espath for that game. Probably comes back, I guess. I really need to get around that Clawitzer. I think it's kicking my ass right now. I think it's you two. I don't feel good about benching Gourgeist here, but I mean, it's not really doing much for me right now, so I need something that can do something. I think Absol might be able to put in some work here if I put it in position. Okay, so Frig, that's really good. Tells me close combat here feels pretty safe. Might lose Tauros. I doubt it's Zoroark again, and he doesn't really have anything that can switch into close combat, so I feel like it's just good damage regardless. The risk, of course, is that I lose my Tauros, but okay. It's a Zorosphere? Okay, and that's likely to be actually Clawitzer. Good to confirm. We'll check just the last move. Water Pulse. Take this. Now this could be Zoroark. Technically we have not confirmed the items yet. We'll go Wave Crash here. I do want to talk to it again. I don't know if I'm gonna get any use out of this. I still think it's pretty good. Okay. Okay. Alright, so that is Zoroark. Confirm. Unfortunately, this means that my taunt will go completely to waste, but that's okay. I've gotten intimidated. Pretty sure at my bulk that means that I can pick up. Of course, don't know that for sure. Fable might have been a better switch here. I was looking to pin him. Yeah, Fable would have been a much better switch here. And then it's like, what do I do there? He swaps out the Zoroark for... He swaps out the Zoroark for Mawile, and then I don't really get anywhere after that. Okay. Burn, doesn't really matter. Ridiculous. Is it special? Chop. I should take that. Yep, I take that. Here's Mawile. I'm gonna target down my Tauros because he needs to take that thing out if he wants a clean shot. Do I let him? Honestly, I might just let him. Yeah, I might be fine with that, actually. Right back here. Feels bad, but I don't really know that I have a way around it. Okay, we call that protect. That's good. Oh, and he went for Sucker Punch. Okay, perfect. Perfect. This is Wave Crash. Oh, that does nothing. Oh, wait, that's really bad. Ooh, what do we do now? Oh, shoot. Okay. I think I go for it again. And swap it. God, I'm about to die on the battery here. Might have to hop over to it. Okay, goes for the Sucker Punch, doesn't get it, just Wave Crash pick up. Oh, yes! It picks up. Okay, that should do it, I think. Unless the Zoroark is tricked out in some super crazy way, that should do it. Oh, wait, no, he still has... No, it doesn't do it, because he still has Clawitzer in the back. Oh, I totally forgot about Clawitzer. Does that matter? I'm actually not super confident that matters, because my Tauros still has Sweets. Yeah, I think that should still do it. Unless I throw. We can't rule that out. But I think we confirmed earlier in the battle that Tauros is faster. So this should be a safe play, I think. And you're at -1, so I don't even know if Sucker Punch crit picks up. Yeah, I maybe should have thought this one through a little bit more. This one might not be completely locked out. invite. Okay, yeah, we do have. All right, that should be okay. All right, and with that, we will be 1-0 in HDA. GG's to Craig. This team was super tricky to play against in practice. I did not have a fun time with that Clawitzer at all. And I knew it was going to be an issue. Glad that I was able to play. So I wanted to highlight some key takeaways from my first match against Craig. Ultimately, what worked, what didn't work, and what are some takeaways that I can take away with me as I progress further into the season. First off, Mega Delphox with that core support of Tauros and Clefable worked extremely well conceptually. Tauros with that Intimidate was able to reduce the damage output of both Zoroark and Mawile and put my Delphox in a position where he could put in a ton of damage, and Clefable's Follow Me meant that Delphox also didn't have to worry about Sucker Punch that way. That Intimidate especially ended up coming in clutch in Game 3, helping Mega Delphox survive that Throat Chop and dish back a ton of damage with that Heat Wave, so that ultimately ended up really working in my favor. Speaking of Tauros put in a ton of damage on its own, especially in that Game 3. The fact that it was able to dish out so many wave crashes and close combats, particularly against that Clawitzer being able to outspeed it, ended up making a huge difference in this set. Tauros, I would say, was the MVP for this week. And my prep against Clawitzer ended up paying off. I thought that Iron Ball Clawitzer might be something that I would need to respect heading into this week. And even though it wasn't necessarily what I expected with the Choice Scarf instead of the Iron Ball, the fact that I was able to respect it as a primary damage output Mon this week ultimately ended up making a difference. So I'm very glad about my prep against Clawitzer and identifying it as a key threat. A couple of things that didn't work as well. First off, getting the wrong move on Delphox was not great. Having Expanding Force rather than Psyshock, which is what I originally intended, was not very good. So moving forward, I will have to make sure that I clean that up. I thought that Rhyperior could have done more in this set as well. I don't think it was necessarily a huge moveset issue. I thought it was more so the fact that it just wasn't really doing anything other than like one Earthquake into a Farigiraf. To me, that's more of a positional issue. I think that if I had been able to pace out that Mawile Protect inside of that game too, I could have gotten more impacts down and ultimately done a little bit more with it, but not really much coming from that Rhyperior in that set. The big one for me as well, damage modifiers didn't really have a ton of impact. We saw a +2 Heat Wave come around inside of that game too for Delphox, which some of the specifics for that I'll get to in a minute. But other than that, I had Helping Hand, I had Swords Dance on the Rhyperior. I didn't really capitalize on these all of that much. And so I figure going forward, try to find ways to be able to give myself better damage modifiers so that way I can actually dish out some real damage and potentially sweep. A few game takeaways that I wanted to take away as well. First off, Tauros was great support for Delphox to sweep. Delphox ultimately ended up getting all 4 KOs in this first game, but that doesn't happen without Tauros. The fact that Tauros could outspeed Clawitzer and threaten it with a potential KO when a 2-shot with close combat was a really, really key factor in helping get Delphox set up. So the fact that Tauros was able to do what it did ended up really, really mattering. Game 2, I think that I let Rhyperior take too much damage inside of Trick Room. Getting that Trick Room up was what I wanted, but switching it into a Twin Beam and then taking another Twin Beam and a Sucker Punch and going down, and really only getting one Earthquake off into Farigiraf ended up being a huge difference maker. At the time, I actually did think that Delphox Heat Wave Miss did end up mattering. It actually didn't. I touched base with Craig afterwards, we ran the calc, and ultimately, barring a crit, that Heat Wave Miss didn't end up mattering at all. So I think finding ways to be able to improve my own play rather than blaming the RNG really would have helped me out there and helped me move forward in future games. And in game 3, I felt that my leads were really good. Even though Absol didn't end up doing all that much, it was something that Craig was forced to deal with. And the fact that Tauros was able to get a ton of damage down on Clawitzer right from the get-go meant that he was forced to reposition, and Tauros could deal a ton of damage as well without Zoroark really being able to threaten it in a meaningful way. So I was very, very happy with the type of work that Tauros put in. Ultimately, I think it ended up being the MVP for this set.